to this computer. Well, good morning or good afternoon, everybody, depending on where you are. Welcome to another live webinar with myself, Aaron Shiner. And today I've got a very special guest, one of the best agents in the country, REB superstar, Dib. Dib was previously Rain and Horn's #1 agent. And correct me if I'm wrong, Dib, was it end of last year or beginning of this year you went out on your own? When was it?
Beginning of this year.
Beginning of this year, went out on your own and started your own real estate agency, and from all reports, absolutely setting it on fire. So, mate, first and foremost, I will say thank you for agreeing to meet with me, but more importantly, thanks for sharing with my coaching clients and the people tuning in today.
No problem.
So, one of the main reasons I wanted to interview you, and for number one, success leaves clues. And it's interesting in this industry where you see people sort of hit the scene, have 1 or 2 great years, and then they're gone. But with yourself, you've been doing this consistently year on year. So can you just tell everybody just maybe a little bit, if people don't know, of you, just maybe a minute or two just of your backstory and sort of how you've got to be here today?
Yeah, sure. So previous to opening my own office at the start of this year, I've only worked at one other agency, and that was Rain and Horn in Concord. Got into real estate about 10 or so years ago.
Yep.
Started off as a sales assistant, and after about a year or so, had an ambition to be a sales agent, so I have my own.
Yep.
And obviously, fast forward to now, was able to tick a few of my goals, become the #1 agent there for about 4 or 5 years in the network as a salesperson, and growing a team from being an individual agent to an agent put on the first assistant, second, third, and fourth, and now having my own office. So pretty much been in the industry for about 10 to 11 years at the moment.
Yeah, terrific. And can you just give everybody, and you just got a little bit faint there. I don't know if anyone else picked that up, but you're a little bit faint. So maybe either speak a fraction louder or bring the fraction closer.
Yeah.
Tell me, when you first started out, and there's going to be some different challenges, and this is one of the very first questions I actually had of this. Yes, Dib's sound quality is bad. Yeah, we'll try and get Dib just to speak.
I've got a Rode mic. Do you want me to connect that in?
Yeah, if you can.
I'm not good with technology. That's what I can do.
No, it's all good. If you can't, you can't. See, guys, we're working without a net. This is live, no pre-recording. Stop as we start the interview, and we'll see how this works. It's funny. He's talking about going to get a mic. There's the one that's sitting next to me, so it's mine should be pretty clear because it's a pretty heavy duty.
Maybe one of these.
Okay, try that. If you can plug in.
Yeah. I can't. Anyway, let's do this.
No, it's all right. Just when you speak, just speak direct in nice and close to the mic on the iPad. It'll be all right. So here's one of the questions I got, and obviously here's a personal question I have. Mm-hmm. How have you maintained focus and stayed at the top with the intensity that you have for the period over the time you've done it?
Yeah. I guess I have my goals in front of me every day, my individual goals and my weekly targets.
Yep.
And I'm driven by my success. So I've always wanted to beat the previous month. So ensuring that that's in front of me and I have a clear vision, it helps me stay on top of, my own goals and my competitions myself. That's how I do things.
Yeah. And it's interesting that you say that, Dib, because you're the #1 agent for Rain and Horn for a very long time. And I hope everyone can pick up on that, having those goals, looking at them daily, and you're not, is it fair to say what you just said, Dib, you're not competing against other people, you're setting personal challenges sort of consistently to beat your own sort of PBs?
Absolutely. I don't care too much about the marketplace besides what's been listed and sold, so I know what's happening. I don't try to look at what another agent's doing. It's good to see if they're doing well and use that as a pinnacle of success and how to better yourself, but I don't pay attention too much about what else is happening besides what's happening in my own backyard.
Fair enough. I like that. Winners focus on winning, losers focus on winners. So here's a question I had from somebody, especially early in your career, and I'm just reading it word per word. What is the single most effective action you can recommend to a new real estate salesperson to get traction or to get started?
Phone calls. Make as many as you can.
Let's dig a bit deeper.
Well, at the end of the day, all I've done is I've built a database with people that were looking to buy and eventually became sellers or potential sellers, and I called them every single day. So I think what most agents don't do, like expect any real estate agent, how many calls you make a day? 20. Well, like 20 phone calls isn't enough. So you need to build a database and you need to be relevant with that database. You need to keep on calling, whether they're looking at buying, try to help them buy a listing. If you don't have many listings, be like a buyer's agent. If you have many listings, obviously, you know, you service your clients, new buyers and obviously new sellers. But for me, I marketed myself pretty well and I made a lot of phone calls.
Yeah, okay. So your mic's gone terrible again for some reason. I don't know. It goes loud and then it just goes soft.
Oh, really? What about now?
Yeah, I think because it's Apple's noise cancelling sort of thing, so it will pick up background noise and then just cancels you out. So here's a question then, Dib. How many calls a day would you recommend for a new agent to be making?
I recommend to do at least 75 phone calls a day if you're a new agent just starting.
So if you're a new agent starting out, you're saying minimum of 75. Is that dials or connects?
Dials. I don't track my connects.
No, so you just purely track your dials, and if you're a new agent, right, and you don't have that abundance of database where you got your pipeline sellers. If I was to go on and say, okay, I'm going to go and call, who would you say would be the best use of your time? Who is the lowest hanging fruit? If I'm just starting out, who should I be calling? Like, who are those agents?
Buyers. Agents or?
No, yeah. So for those agents, who are the best people to call?
Buyers. They'll answer your phone, you know, because I know you don't want anything from them. You're trying to help them.
Yeah.
I mean, even today, I still pick up the phone and call people. And if they're a buyer, they're most likely to, you know, have a conversation with me, opposed to a cold seller.
Yep.
I mean, I don't do many cold calls, but when I call my database, those that know me, they talk to me. Those that don't know me, a bit standoffish. But when you're a buyer and you check in, say, hey, you're still looking at mine, no, they talk to you.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you say that because the cold seller, you want something from them. Today's buyer, you're trying to help them. But correct. I guess the attitude is today's buyer is tomorrow's seller. So you help them into a home, or they might have something to sell or refer you. Okay, I'm cool with that. So if you're listening, whoever sent that question through, work your buyers like they are tomorrow's sellers. If you're doing 20 or 30 calls or dials, increase it to 70. So here's a question from somebody sort of close to you in your backyard, Jason Bellow. What does your pipeline look like and consist of? So are you looking, are they owners looking to buy? Are these people that, how have you grown your pipeline? How are you engaging them?
Yeah, sure. Does it sound good, by the way?
Yeah, it sounds all right.
Fantastic. So with my database, it consists of owners that are looking to buy a property. It consists of sellers, potential sellers that I've met that live in my core area. I only focus on sellers in my core area. I don't, I obviously service the city of Canada Bay. Concord's a suburb. I won't have somebody in Jason, probably Surrey Hills, for an example, looking to sell. Yep. I don't focus on that. So it's a potential seller, a past buyer, a past seller, a market appraisal, and somebody looking to buy. That's essentially what my database consists of.
Yeah, okay. So tell me this then. So you've got all these people in one big pot. Obviously, you can have them broken down into some categories. What are you doing to engage those people? Is it just phone calls? Are you emailing? Are you texting? Are they on action plans? Like, how are you having a conversation with these people and keeping your name front of mind?
Okay, front of mind firstly starts with, branding out there in the marketplace. And I obviously have a lot of signboards out there, and that's why people can see that. But if I'm calling them, I'm calling you.
Yep.
And I'm emailing you.
Yep.
Pretty much that's the two things that I do. I don't send SMSs much.
Yep.
And I call daily and I email monthly.
Yeah, okay. Well, that was going to be my next question. So you're making your daily calls and you're emailing that audience, those pipelines monthly.
Yeah, I mean, I break it down a bit, sometimes monthly, sometimes quarterly.
Yep.
So I bust Luke's chops on locked on to make the right categories for me so we can send them all out.
Yep.
And ensure that everything's correct. But monthly and quarterly is what I do.
Cool. And what would be, and this is the number one question I probably get in training around communicating with a database. What's the sort of content that you're actually sending?
If I'm sending my database an email, it's what I saw that month. Monthly market snapshot. Did you say? What I saw, that monthly market snapshot.
Oh, okay, so you're giving them a market review on what you've seen in the market, what's been going on.
Absolutely. So I try to be informative.
Yep.
I also put in there some sales that I made in the marketplace. You know, like last month we did 12 sales. So yeah, we did 12 sales this month. This is what it was, etc.
Yep.
So ensuring I know what's happening out there, but pretty much giving informative information that, not as a real estate agent, information that I want to know, as a consumer, what information you want to know.
Yeah, okay. So I want to push pause for a second, Dib, and I just want to unpack that for 10 seconds. Guys, what Dib just said hits the nail on the head in regards to, don't send them, because a lot of the time when we send stuff, it's I, we, did, where make it what's going to be of benefit to the consumer. And I get it. We've all got that inherent ego or that little bit of need to be liked where we want to have a brag. But the more we can make it about them, if you're picking up on this, guys, like with what Dib's doing, these are the sales, put in your sales, but put in the other sales. What's the relevant information? You know, so an informed seller can make an informed decision and they can see exactly what's going on in the market. So I really like that, Dib. So guys, keep with that monthly communication. Here's a good question. What dialogue do you use specifically when you're doing your OFI callbacks to find appraisals, like to find those potential sellers? Is there any sort of questions or dialogue that you use when you're speaking to buyers to see if they've also got a house to sell?
Yeah, sure. I don't have any set dialogues, but when I call you, so if I was calling you, Aaron, thanks for coming to my open for inspection on Saturday. You know, really appreciated meeting you. Did you have any questions about that property? Was that of interest?
Yep.
And depending on what they say, yes or no, obviously then towards the end of that conversation, I say, Aaron, what's your situation at the moment? Where are you coming from? What are you looking at doing? Do you need to sell before you buy? And asking those sort of questions, because right away when I ask you what your situation is, you elaborate. Oh, I'm renting out there in the marketplace.
Yep.
Whatever. No, but if you, I need to sell before I buy. I like to ask, identify a few more information by asking key questions.
Yep.
And I always ask, what's your situation?
All right. So that's probably your key dialogue to start the conversation.
Yeah.
All right. So guys, if you're listening and you want something that is conversational, ask, guys, what's your situation? And I guess they will then fill in the blanks and finish the sentence for you.
Absolutely. I think when you're talking to somebody, actually talk to them. I mean, I don't want to have a conversation for 10 minutes with somebody on a callback. About a minute or two,
Yep.
Try to identify their situation. Are they looking at buying? Are they looking at selling? When are they looking at buying? When they're looking at selling? And then at the end, when should we check in next? You know, when should I, reach out? Ask those sort of questions at the end as well, because at the end of the day, asking more questions helps you understand this client and what they want to do.
Yep. Okay, cool. Another question, Dib. Back around how you manage your pipeline. What sort of categories obviously you've got your pipeline sellers. Do you have them broken down into categories? And what sort of categories do you have? So I guess, if you're prospecting out of a database, you can quickly and easily find people. Do you have sort of any pattern on how you track these people, or are you using action plans, or are they just sort of one size fits all?
I do have a lot of categories. I want to break it down a bit. So I'm getting some help from you guys on breaking it down a bit, which has been good. But in terms of my categories, I have it broken down in, like I said, potential seller. If they're obviously, I run the office here, so potential landlord, a current buyer, a market appraisal, a monthly market report, a quarterly market report. property type. So if I have owners that have waterfront, I try to categorize as much as I can, but by not going over the top as well. So I'm really looking at refining that. And what I do is every day I'm calling my database based on what our day looks like. When I say our day, what we have sold, what we have listed in their core area.
Yep.
And essentially, if I know that they're in a potential seller category, it means that I haven't appraised their property.
Yep.
And I want to be able to A, do an appraisal, or B, list that property.
Yep.
In order to sell it. And if I then appraise that property, that potential seller, Aaron China, will then become as market appraisal Aaron China category. And then with my market appraisal, once a week, I'll look at that category, who have I spoken to recently, I'll give them a call and check in. And then there's action plans around that as well. I like to use the database in creating a follow-up task that works well.
Yeah.
It's just a reminder, when I'm talking to you and you say, I'm going overseas and I'm back on the 10th of October, I'll put in the database call on the 11th of October and it will come up automatically for me. So that tool works really well, particularly with the amount of phone calls that I'm making, to remember who to call.
Yeah, okay. I really like that you're using, and obviously the way that this got started, Dib, is obviously there's no secret. You use Locked On. You're one of our best users in Locked On. I think our best user in Locked On. And, Luke from Locked On sort of said, hey, you've got to speak to this guy. And one of the things Luke, how the conversation come up in one of our directors' meetings, it was, hey, Dib's pushing the system and he's asking for this and he wants that, which is a good thing, right? Because he's like, he reminds me of you. Like, he annoys me like you annoy me because he wants the best out of the system, right?
Yeah.
And as soon as Luke said that, sort of my ears prick up, right? And I say, well, here's a guy using it. Here's a guy actually using a system, because we know, databases don't work unless you work them, right? And look, there's more than one way that leads to Rome. I might prospect or manage my database differently than you, but there's one thing that is absolutely evident in you working with us in Locked On, because by you using it the way you use it, you give us recommendations and make it better. The way I use it helps us grow it as well. There's one thing there's a common trait, guys, if you're listening to this, some of the best agents in the country are great at databasing. And even if it's not them, when I say them, if it's not the agent pushing their buttons, there is an assistant somewhere behind the scenes help driving it. But the importance of databasing is absolutely critical. I've got a question from David, and he says, look, he has a sales associate, so a right-hand man working with him. How would you, what piece of advice would you give him so he could utilize his assistant to the best of his ability, so to speak? What are the roles that you would get an assistant to do to free you up with those high-end dollar productive jobs?
Can David see and hear us at the moment?
I hope so.
David, what does your assistant do? Are they an admin assistant or a buyer's assistant?
Yeah, so David, dollar productive or red worker. I call them blue and red. So red is for admin, blue is for dollar productive. Are they admin or are they a buyer's agent? Let us know, David, and we can circle back to that.
Cool.
Calls. Okay, cool. So I guess I'm going to say, if David says calls, I'm going to say it's maybe like a buyer's agent or a sales cadet, sales creator. So what piece of advice would you give somebody like David trying to get the most out of a sales assistant? How would you leverage them?
Well, my guys that work with me, first and foremost, when I hire them, the intention is for them to be a salesperson in their own right. But being a director, that's my vision. I guess I don't know David's role, but I mean, at the end of the day, whoever's going to join your team, you want them to have ambitions to be their own agent. That's how they grow. That's how they get hungry and continue to be hungry. Yep. What they do is I let them focus on buyer work, because right now, the way I see things is this: if I list a property, I need to be able to sell it ASAP.
Yep.
I list a property, I want to sell it ASAP. My guys here, all they do is buy work, and they monitor the market.
Yep.
For price guides, so we know what properties are selling for and what they're pitched at. So when a buyer's looking at something else, we get to identify their budget and also have a better understanding of the market. So all I get them to do is look at what's the withdrawn listing in our area, what's been withdrawn from the market that an agent couldn't sell, what's in expired listing at the moment. and obviously, you know, they help me with callbacks.
Yep.
Can you hear me, Aaron?
So they're helping you with your OFI callbacks?
Yeah, they help me with my open for inspection callbacks. I only call the local owners in our area.
You just dropped out a little bit. Say that again, Dib. Your mic just went soft.
I like to call the local owners in our area.
Yep.
All my clients have come through open for inspections.
Yep. Okay. So you're doing a lot of your, I don't know, call it your database calls. I guess realistically, the way that it sounds like you're doing a lot of your stock in business, and you're doing your stock in calls, and your assistants are doing your stock out calls, e.g., helping you sell the properties and the things in the middle. Is that a fair call?
Absolutely. Why? It helps them build a database.
Yep.
It helps them understand how to close deals, and it helps push their name out there as well. And it helps me find more time to find more sellers.
Yep.
So we can sell the properties.
Yeah, okay. And can I just push pause for a second, Dib? I had a coaching session. I did a one-on-one coaching session earlier today with a gentleman called Ben. And Ben, hopefully you can just hear what we just said. Dib's focusing on those stock-in calls, and his offsiders are focused on the stock-out stuff. Basically, I won't say it was word per word what I said, but very similar in attitude of that. So here's a question for you. We're entering the peak selling market. We're entering spring, or actually halfway through September, basically. Tell me, what are some things that you're doing to get some now sellers that could be different to, you know, and I understand you're making your typical calls, you're doing an email out, but is there anything that is above and beyond that at the moment to sort of get in front of people over spring, or is there anything you're saying in the spring market?
Hold on a second, let me just... Yeah.
Yep, I've lost your video, but I can hear you.
Yeah, no, I made it better for you so you can hear me clearer.
Okay.
So at the moment in Sydney, particularly in my area, and I think Sydney is general, the stock level is very low.
Yep.
So what I'm trying to do by creating urgency is putting information out there, whether it's on social media, emails or phone calls, telling the customers that you're going to get a better price now opposed to later on the year close to the summer, because there's very little supply.
Yep.
I'm just trying to create urgency, and what I'm giving them also is case studies on properties selling for $200,000 above the reserve. So I guess stock levels also low everywhere. Someone said in Bathurst, it's quite low too.
Yep, in Bathurst, yep.
So I guess what you need to do is create urgency by telling these owners that if you don't sell now, yeah, you still get a fantastic price when you come to sell, but there's a 5% premium out there.
Yeah, okay. Can I just pause and unpack that for a second?
Yeah.
I really like that. If you're listening to that and you're saying, how do I use that? And what does he mean? Well, right now there's a shortage of stock. Thing number one. Thing number two, we're entering the peak selling season, spring. Thing number three, and this is the part I like, because there is a shortage of stock. There has been a mini rebound. Dib's saying in his market, you're getting a 5% premium right now. And I guess the urgency part of that is there's no guarantee that if supply meets demand, that's going to be there tomorrow. Is that a fair call, Dib?
Absolutely.
So if you're sitting there, and if I'm in your shoes, guys, and you're sitting there saying, how do I make the most out of this session? Is there a list of people that are due for a call? Is there some people that you spoke to 3, 6, 9, even 12 months ago that you haven't spoken to since that are due for a call, and you're like, well, I just don't know what to speak to them about? Well, now's a perfect time to have what Dib just said is the perfect time to have that discussion. There's more buyers in the market. It's spring. There's a premium, and you know that could change.
Absolutely. I know what I can say too, Aaron, is especially if all these people in this webinar locked on customers.
Not all, no.
Okay. So I used to be. I mean, I can understand some people have part of franchises where you're not allowed to. So I used to be a part of another franchise, and they had a CRM that they used.
Yep.
What helped me and what will continue to help me, because obviously changing from the CRM that we were previously on to a CRM that we're on now,
yep,
we lost a lot of information, etc. But what's helping me is what Locked On puts reminders out there for me. Locked On has information when somebody calls me. I know who's calling me, and it has action plans. And what I like about it, you can tailor it around your business. Yep. Not everything I do is correct. I'm learning every day and will continue to learn. But if it works, I'm able to possibly automate it, given that Locked On helps with that.
Yep.
And I think for anyone that's looking to make it out there in their marketplace, or if they're doing well to take it to the next level, they have to understand that the data that you put in has to be used. Yeah. You can't just put it in there and just say, oh, good, I got Locked On. You know, I send an email once a month. You actually have to use that data.
Yeah.
I think that's really important. I mean, you have to work. You have to make 75 to 100 calls a day. You have to work your database. You have to, you know, spend money to make money as well.
Yeah, and it's interesting, Dib. You know, the thing is, great if you know you're a Locked On user, and I appreciate the plug. But here's the reality, guys. Whatever the database it is, as you said, there's some franchises that, you know, you've got your own, whatever it is. What Dib's doing is databasing. You know, a lot of people, they will come up to me in training, Dib, and they'll say, hey, I've got this massive database. And I go, oh, how big is it? Oh, I've got 4,000 people on my database. I'm like, great. Like, how are you engaging them? What are you sending to them? And they look at me like, well, what do you mean? I go, well, how are you communicating with them? Well, I'm not. They're just in there. Well, you don't actually have a database at that point. All you've got is a list. The power and the money isn't in the size of it. It's the conversation you're having with it. You know, guys, take what Dib's saying and use it. You know, set action plans against your customers. Have the discipline to make those calls, and it will pay dividends. Here's a question, Dib, that come in as we started the call today. Obviously, the market sort of had like this mini rebound. We've had a couple of interest rate drops. You know, vendors thinking, oh, great, you know, it's back on, you know, things are good again. How are you managing your vendors' expectations?
Oh, yeah, you get some vendors that now think their price went up 10% or something, which maybe in some areas they did.
Yep.
I think the way we manage vendors' expectations is we have vendor meetings every week. Every week I'm meeting with my vendors.
Yep.
And prior to my vendor meetings, I do catch up with my vendors before we go to the market and let them know what to expect and what our process is like. Because if you don't, and you have this hot property, and the vendors know it's a hot property, and you do an open home, you have like 40 groups come through the first week, so nothing to sell in your area, your vendor's price is going to go up.
Yep.
And there's nothing wrong with the expectations changing depending on competition. But it's about getting the vendor the best price. So you have to position it the correct way and going through the correct process. So when you do get the best price, the vendor's like, yeah, no worries. This is the deal. We're taking it. Yep. So meeting prior to going to the market and meeting every week when you're on the market. Now, if you have a lot of stock, some areas people sell 200 sales a year.
Yep.
Might be hard to do, but maybe talking to your vendors every day then.
Yep.
Talking to your vendors every day.
All right. Can I dig a bit deeper here? Because there's two things that I really like. You're doing whatever you want to call it, a set up to sell meeting before you go live, and then you're meeting with vendors every single week. Now, can I ask, in your business, are you doing majority auction, or are you doing private treaty, or are you doing a combination of both?
Combination of both, only because I do auctions for everything except for apartments in an area where there's a lot of apartments. So there's a suburb over here, Breakfast Point, for an example, a lot of apartments. You don't have enough buyer pool to call an auction over there. You might have one.
Yep. I actually lived on Peninsula Drive for a couple of years.
Oh, did you? Oh, you're rich.
What's that?
You're rich.
Yeah, number 77, right up on the 4th level. Good views.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. There you go. Get Aaron up, guys.
So I know it well. Before it was all built out, but yeah, so I get it. But all right. So okay, take me through it. So I'm a new vendor, right? So I've just come on. I'm about to go live. Talk me through what that set up to sell meeting looks like. Can you give me some of the highlights or some of the points that you're...
I basically discuss my process and our process as the office. So what our communication is like, how we, do open homes, how we share feedback, discussing that the first offer you may get might be your best offer.
Yep.
You know, a buyer could have been looking for 6 months, sold prior to the election, and has been renting, is sick of renting, is ready to go. You know, you're probably been on the market for 1 day, but that doesn't mean, you know, that offer that you have isn't the best offer you're going to get.
Yep.
So pretty much what they call it, set to sell.
Yep.
You're setting them up to when they come to sell, they know what to expect.
Yep.
And letting them know what the process is like throughout the campaign and meeting up when we discuss the auction and the reserve and the vendor meeting, and the vendor bid. Pretty much educating the owner, because not every day they sell.
Yep.
And it's definitely not every day they sell through your process.
Yes. So, okay, so you're giving them basically a list of what to expect moving forward, what the process actually looks like. I guess letting them know maybe a list of things that could go wrong, or things to expect. Which, you know what, I actually like that, because I know firsthand a lot of agents in that initial part, they're very much in the honeymoon period, and they don't want to say anything to a vendor that could potentially jeopardize that. So sometimes we may think it, but we don't speak it. It sounds like you're just sort of tabling everything, good and bad. Hey, if we need a price adjustment, talk about if a property needs a price adjustment, or what's the, you know.
Well, look, I'll give you an example. I recently listed a property and I put everything on all internet portals. Can you see me? Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. I just shut the door because we've got renovations going on downstairs, and I just heard a saw start. I don't want everybody else to hear the saw start. So
I just saw a handsome photo of yourself, so I figured what happened. So essentially, I listed a property recently, and I always go on every internet portal, real estate, domain, etc.
Yep.
And I had one owner that said, I don't want to go on realestate.com.
Yep.
I only search domain. I said, fair enough, but I tried to explain why they should.
Yep.
Didn't work. So, but I did know that, I did say to them, okay, we'll try it out, and if it doesn't work, try my way.
Yep.
So after going to the market and doing one inspection, we had some numbers through, mainly from our database and a few people that we didn't know. But then I went back to the owner and I said, listen, we need to go on realestate.com, because if we don't, 50% of the inquiries we're missing out on.
Yep.
And I showed them an example of the realestate.com hit and the domain.com hit on a different property. And I proved to them the difference in inquiry. So I was able to then get the owner this morning to go to realestate.com and launch that property. So I had that conversation in set to sell.
Yep.
And I set it all up. And then when obviously the open home, the first open home didn't go to plan, no contract requested or people telling me no, I was then able to get the owner to agree by 4 days later to go on realestate.com. But if I didn't have that set to sell meeting or explain to them my expectations, that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, okay. And I like that. So, you know, you guys, just keep this in mind. There's one saying that I live by in vendor management, and that is, how do you kill a monster? You kill it when it's small. All these things that could potentially happen down the track, if you have that discussion early on, it's certainly going to help. So a question, Dib, around, we're 2 weeks in, and I just want to try and dig a bit deeper to give everybody a lot of meat as well. So we're 3 weeks in, haven't sold yet. Vendor's expectation is probably 5 or 10% higher than what market price is honestly telling us.
Mm-hmm.
What does that conversation look like in that week's vendor meeting? Like, how do you approach that? What are you saying to sort of have that adult? I call it an adult discussion. How do you have that adult discussion around moving the price?
Okay. Well, in the setup to sell meeting, which you referred to, I talk about if the property campaign isn't going to my liking, I'd like to make some changes. And I make those changes, say, weekly.
Yes.
I mentioned price as one of them.
Yep.
So if the owner's expectations $1 million and we're guiding $1 million and there's no interest, then also we have to drop the price. So after a week, I test the waters.
Yep.
But after 2 weeks, I say, hey, we need to do something.
Yep.
I tell them straight. I basically say right now, we're guiding $1 million, there's no interest. There's another property a few streets away, guiding 900. All our buyers are saying that's better value.
Yep.
And that potentially will sell for $1 million subject to competition.
Yep.
So we either do nothing and have no buyers, or we play fire with fire and like for like, and we create some competition. And if $1 million is achieved, great. If close is achieved, that's market value. But I really have that straight conversation, because if you don't, nothing will happen. And you know, half the times the vendors are like, yeah, no problem, I'll stick in that. That's what I say to you. The difficult ones, well, you know, sometimes they take a bit more convincing than after 2 weeks. But you have to be straight.
Yeah, but one thing I know, Dib, the limited times we've connected over the phone or we've had conversation, I'm going to push pause for a second. That dialogue that Dib just shared with us, there's no bells and whistles to that. It wasn't fancy training dialogue. That was authentic. It was honest. It was easy to I don't know, grasp. And the best part about it is you're not doing it for yourself. You're doing it to help them achieve a goal. But I can say this, honestly, there's a lot of agents that are listening here that would say, I don't know if I would have the courage to say it like that. Can I ask, did that get easier? And this is a question, I'm just trying to think of what people would be. Did that conversation get easier? Or have you always been able to do it? Because, you know, that's obviously a great skill that you've got, and you are a straight shooter. But how did you get it to that point, or is that just something you're gifted with?
Look, it's probably something, yes and no. You're gifted with it if you're straightforward.
Yep.
But also, it's hard to say to somebody, hey, you want too much. I can understand that, especially when you know the situation. But it got easier. It gets easier with, I guess, experience.
Yes.
But it got really easy for me. This one time I was with my colleague, previous agency, and we were the co-agent. And I just told an owner, listen, you want too much, and if you want to sell, you got to do this. And they heard it from me, and they're like, wow. And they didn't hear it from the other person.
Yep.
And I was like, wow, it's just that easy. And I booked in a few more owner appointments and got the prices down, and it worked. And it's like, once you do it a few times, you get with it.
Yeah.
But in the early piece, that's what I was doing. I was telling other people's owners, even I was telling other people's owners.
Yeah.
You know, if you've got a colleague or a principal in your office, it works really well with somebody else doing it too.
Yeah. So, yeah. Well, because they're emotionally invested. You know, sometimes the listing agent becomes the second vendor, or the vendor to vendor. So sometimes when you're not that emotionally invested person, that you can sort of break that news to them. But I could see the smile on your face when you were sort of saying it, in the sense that it was a learning moment for you. You know, just things that have got to be said, you just get out and say it. So, okay, if you're on this call right now and you're sitting there going, oh, Aaron, you know, Dib, that's great, but this is what we need. Let's talk about implementations, guys.
Nice.
Go and, as soon as we get off this phone, or as soon as we get off this conference, pick up the phone to the vendor that needs to hear it the most, and just shoot them straight and say, guys, this is where it's at. This is what needs to happen. Take Dib's advice. It gets easier. Shoot them straight, shoot them authentic, and tell them what they need to hear. And as Dib just said, the more you do, the easier they get. Heck, you might even swap. You might have colleagues on this call, and you might have done an inspection on one of your colleagues' listings, and one of your colleagues has done an inspection on yours. Do a swap. Get them to call each other's listings. Be a good cop, bad cop. I don't know. But Dib, because I know I'm conscious of your time, you're going to be out of here in a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
I want to let you go in
2 minutes.
Yeah, 2 minutes.
Sorry.
So no, it's all good. So as we move forward, tell me, moving forwards, what does and this is probably a different question than what you normally get asked. What does Dib do to unwind? You know, becoming independent. How do you maintain balance? Because we always talk about get more business, and we're always exchanging time for money. But what do you do to sort of come back fresh, refocus? How do you stay centered, and how do you stay motivated, or how do you come back fresh?
Good question. I guess for me, I found it hard to unwind because I was living and breathing real estate. But when you know, after getting married, and I've got a baby on the way in December.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I'm working hard to list and sell as much as I can, and then come closer to December, list stuff for next year so I can just unwind, relax. I think you need to take breaks, and I really think you need to find a hobby and enjoy something, because right now you get burnt in this process in real estate. You work hard for 8 months and then you're tired for the next month. So you really need to work and ensure that you're, you know, resting. And to be honest as well, I try to turn off after 7:30 at night.
Yep.
I don't look at my emails anymore at night, because what are you going to do at night? If someone sends you an email about something, unless they want to buy the property then and there, or they're telling you, you know, do this to get the listing, there's no point for you to be around and doing any of that. So I guess I'm still learning that, but I think turning off is really, really important.
Yeah, and it's interesting. It'll be there tomorrow. It will be there tomorrow. You can action it. Dib, personal question, like you said about hobbies or interests. You know, this is more for me, learning more about you. What are you into? What fuels you outside of real estate? Because it's not just about the money. Clearly, it's because you can earn enough to do what you want to do. From what I understand, you come from quite a successful family in itself. Your family's quite well known in the inner west.
Mm-hmm.
What are your interests outside of real estate?
Look, I love to holiday with my wife.
Yeah.
But in particular, I like watches. I like to collect watches, and I like, I think that's a bit of my hobby.
Yeah.
And I like cars, but also watches. I like to look at watches and buy watches.
Yeah, nice. We're going to go watch shopping together one day. I like watches too. That's my
Bring
week.
your credit card.
What's that?
Your shout, bring your credit card.
Yeah, I was hoping it was your shout. But mate, look, I'm going to let you go.
No problem.
Thank you very much for joining us. Mate, I appreciate your time, and I know you don't give it up generously. So everyone listening, I'm going to speak on their behalf. They're going to thank you too. You go do your thing. I'm going to.
Thanks for having me.
You go. You can leave. Thank you, Dib. And he's gone. Take care. See you, Dib. So guys, I'm going to hang around for like maybe another 15 minutes or so. And this is where I can sort of get in with you guys, maybe a little bit of the nuts and bolts training coming in September or coming into October as well. So for those of you who only wanted to hear Dib, that's cool. I won't be offended if you guys bounce. But if you want to hang around, I'm going to be covering off on a few other bits and pieces as well. So, one of the things I just want to throw sort of 4 or 5 ideas at you to make sure that you end the year with plenty of listings. And for me, a little bit of housekeeping. Thing number 1, have you engaged your potential database, your potential sellers in your database? Have you communicated the interest rates have gone down? Have you communicated that there's buyers out and about looking to transact before the end of the year? Have you actually had that conversation with the people that need to have that conversation? That's thing number 1. Have you sort of sent out an email or an SMS reflecting, these changes in the marketplace? Is thing number 2. But then thing number 3, one of the things I would absolutely look at is, have you set up your prospecting? Because this is now when you do it. The prospecting we do in October, November is and in December is what sets up our January, February, and March. Have you started? Have you got your plan together to know what you're sending out for beginning of January? When your competitors are asleep at the wheel, you've already got all your things planned. Have you started preparing for tomorrow today? Have you got those things in order? I think that is really important, and these are the things that I'd like you to sort of focus on now. So I want you to think about that, and I guess that I've been doing a lot of training lately. I was in Tasmania yesterday. Yeah, Tasmania. I was in Tasmania yesterday. Last week I was in Victoria, and I was in Brisbane. And whenever I'm asking the question, what's the number 1 challenge in your business right now? There's 2 things everybody's saying. 1, getting in front of more people. 2, getting our fees. And what I would like to do, maybe just for the next maybe 2 to 3 minutes, and then we'll wrap this up, is just have that discussion around fees and defending your fees. Can I just see maybe in the chat or in the questions if fees are a challenge in your market at the moment? Either write yes or no. Where there's agents sort of underquoting, or there's agents doing it for less. Okay, yeah, it's all a lot of yeses, yes, capital yeses. So it's probably, yeah, okay, yeah, there's 2 no's and about 20 yeses at this point. So that's what seems to be sort of an issue. So can I just share a few dialogues with you before we go? One of the dialogues that works really, really well, when somebody asks you to negotiate your fee, what that means is they're actually considering using your services. It means they're actually considering using you, and all they're trying to do is better their position and get you for less money. One of the dialogues I'd love to share with you that's been working really well, and it's a simple one. You can just say this: look, I appreciate you wanting me to negotiate my fee, but here's what it looks like. It looks like you're trying to hire me, the agent you do want to use, at the price of the agent you don't want to use. And how true is that? You're hang on, there's a drill going. All right, we're good. I just muted it, I hope. There's extensive renovations going on downstairs, so there's builders and tradies and everything everywhere. So just working with what we can. So let me say that again. When somebody wants you to negotiate, right, they're just trying to better their position. And when I say it looks like you're trying to hire me at the price of the agent you don't want to use, it's basically when they want to negotiate with you, they're saying, well, hey, this agent will do it at, say, 2.2 and you're at 3, but obviously we want you to handle the sale. Well, they're saying we feel that that other person's less qualified. So using that dialogue, it looks like you're trying to hire me at the price of the agent you feel is less qualified, is a really good dialogue to help them see, yeah, you're right. Another dialogue which is really good that can help you, can you guys hear that drilling, just out of curiosity? Like, do I need to stop when that makes noise, or can you guys just not hear it? Good. No? Is that no's? Just tell me, just so keep going. All good. All right. No. Okay. Well, I'm just going to keep going. Not really. Awesome. So another one that I think is really good at this point, and that is, if you're in a negotiation with a vendor and you can see you're close, they want to use you, but they're also got other options. I can say this, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, here's the reality. You've got a commercial decision to make. You can choose to go with anybody. You can go with the premium agent, which is me, or you can go with the discount agent. I guess this is the thing you've got to look at. Let's look at who is the best agent to represent you. Let's look at who is the best agent to represent you, and then let's figure out the fee. I guess what I'm saying, and this is the key dialogue, this is what I'm saying. Are you looking to win a negotiation with an agent, or are you looking to hire the best agent to represent you? Because they are 2 very different things. So let me just say that again. Are you looking to win a negotiation with an agent around fees, or are you looking to hire the best agent? Because they're 2 very different things. You should be hiring the agent based on the one you feel is best qualified, not on the one who you feel is going to give you the best deal. Because you should be hiring your agent for their negotiating skills, not their discounting mentality. So that's probably a good dialogue, or a couple of good dialogues there that you can take in with you. You should be hiring somebody for their negotiating skills, not their discounting mentality. Is it about winning a negotiation, or is it about hiring the best agent? Because they're 2 different things. It looks like you're trying to hire me at the price of the agent you feel is less qualified. So there's 3 dialogues that you can take back with you. Before we wrap it up today, short session, is there any questions that you have? And I guess this is how I'm going to ask it of you. Where are the blockages in your business right now? Where are the potholes? Is it around your appraisal follow-up? Is it around you getting in front of more people? Is it about negotiating with buyers? if you've got any questions that I can specifically help you with, fire them through now, and I'll answer one or two more, and then we'll get you guys on your way. So, all right, I got a question from Bill, and that was around databasing. So yes, obviously Dib is a locked on client, and Dib uses locked on. How do we get access? Pretty simple. If you want a free trial, you get it 30 days. You can test it out if you like. Just go straight to lockedon.com. You can set up a free trial. Somebody else asked, how do we get on Dib's database? I'm not sure how you would do that. So I understand what you mean, how to get onto how to get on his mailer. That one I'm not 100% sure of. When am I coming to NZ next? I think maybe November, maybe. I have to check my training schedule. I think it's November, Murray. I'm not 100% sure. I need to replenish my stock level before Christmas, okay, and how to get more listings. So they're basically Kathy and I pronounce, I can't say that name properly. Kathy and is it Ada, maybe? I'm not sure. I hope so. How do we get more, how do we replenish our stock levels? Okay, if I'm sitting in your shoes right now, and I need to get some immediate stock, there's a few things I'm going to do. Thing number one, I'm going to get face to camera, e.g. like an iPhone out the front of your office, and I'm going to shoot straight down the lens. And I'm going to say, hey, Aaron here. I just wanted to make a really quick video. We're entering the spring selling season. That means we've got plenty of buyers out trying to buy something before the end of the year. Plenty of buyers out there trying to take advantage of those low interest rates. If you are thinking about doing something, and you'd like to find out the new value, keyword new value of your property, get in contact with me. Make that little video, put it on your Facebook page. Once you've put it on your Facebook page, don't just leave it there. Get the link, get the URL. So get that Facebook URL, put that on an email, and email it out to your whole database. After you've emailed it to your database, get that URL from Facebook and text it to your database. So your database and social media are watching that video. Great call to action. That's one thing to sort of get, FaceTime with people. Next thing, let's just use an old tried and tested prospecting method. Prospecting around just solds. So as soon as a property, even if you didn't sell it and a competitor did, prospect around that property, because there'll be a lot of neighbours that are now in property mode wondering, I wonder what my house is worth. So prospect around just solds. Let them know that there's activity. Let them know we're coming into the best time of year to prospect. Do your letterbox drops, SMS your database, email your database, get on the phone, make your videos. There's 100 things that we can be doing and we should be doing to sort of promote ourselves. If you're stuck for letterbox drops ideas, go to this website. If you're stuck for marketing ideas to get listings, go to that website, jiggler.com. Complete transparency. I've got a vested interest in it. You can set up an account for free. There's over 300 marketing templates in there that you got access to. So you've got at least 30 days to go and download them all, and for free, by the way, and go and use them. So if you are stuck on wondering what you should be sending out, what you should be posting on Facebook, Stephen, we are on it. We're on it already and using the templates. Great, Stephen. Tell me how you're finding it. Is there enough templates there? If there's any that we haven't got, add it. So if you're sitting there going, I don't know what to letterbox drop, I don't know what to put on social media, basically every template I've ever created, be it a social media one or a digital one or a hard copy one, I've put it on there. You can set up an account and get access to them all. You can edit them for free. Knock yourself out. There'll be plenty for everybody, right? So you can go and do that. Other than that, I don't think we've got any more questions, so we'll wrap it up. So I'll probably be back either October or November to do another one of these. So if you did enjoy today's one, by all means, join us for our next one. And for those of you who want to use the database Dib users, or at least give it a go, check out Locked On and grab it. What's your best door knocking opening line? All right, so thanks great. You're welcome. Is this being recorded? Yeah, I think it was. Yes, it was. So best opening line. So with any prospecting call, there must be 5 steps to it. First is introduce yourself, right? But then here's the challenge. As soon as you introduce yourself, now they want to leave. So then you've got to tell them the purpose. And the purpose is absolutely critical. The better the purpose, the better the chances of you keeping somebody on the door. If you're just offering a free appraisal, very weak purpose. If you're telling them we're at interest rates are at record lows, sorry, tongue twister. If your interest rates are at record lows, I just sold the house around the corner and this is the price it got. This is how many buyers we had. This is how long it was on the market for. That's a much stronger purpose. So we go introduce ourselves, tell them the purpose, show the evidence, create some urgency, and then the call to action. So you can check out some of my prospecting videos on YouTube. There's a heap that I've recorded. There's only one of me on YouTube, I think, Aaron Shiner. You can Google there, and there's heaps of prospecting dialogue on my little videos that you can do. I'm just entering into sales again after an extended maternity leave. Any tips to get moving on listings? What I would say to you, I think it's Diane, expired listings are a great key. Properties that were probably unsaleable 3, 6, 12 months ago are probably really saleable today, and you already knew that they were on the market. So maybe start there. Approach people that had their house on the market and couldn't sell. That's probably the lowest hanging fruit I could probably recommend. Brian, is this being recorded? I hope it is. Where can you watch it? Will be on my YouTube channel. That's where it will be if it's successfully recorded. I don't want to say 100% it's recorded because it's technology, but it should be on my YouTube channel within the next 24 to 48 hours. Again, if you want to find my YouTube, just Aaron Shiner. You can check it out. It's pretty easy enough. If you want to use all those marketing templates, Jigglar, it's in the chat, jigglar.com, jigglar.com. And again, I think that's about it. Any other questions before we finish? Please state the website again, Jigglar, and I'm going to put it in the chat again, Richard, jigglar.com. There you go. So that's the website for all the marketing templates and the CRM that Dib uses. And Dib's he's in the top, I think now top 20 in the REB agents Australia-wide. And that's the website, that's the CRM Dib uses. So again, free trial on that if you wanted to check it out. Can I please add you as a friend on Facebook? You're welcome, Kathy. More than happy. You can add me as a friend. That's no problems. I also post training videos on Facebook, so that's cool. Richard, I hope that answers your question. So that's it, guys. That's a wrap. Let you guys get on. Do your thing, and have a great day. List and sell, guys. I enjoyed today's session. If you did get a lot out of Dib, maybe shoot him an email, go to his website, find his email, shoot him an email, just let him know you appreciated it, because I can tell you he's probably the hardest guy I've ever actually had to get on a meeting. He's the hardest one I've had to jump through some hoops to get him there. So, but I'm glad I was able to bring him to you guys. So have a great day, guys. Kick butt, list and sell, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care. Bye for now.